What if the water you've been drinking every single day isn't quite giving your body everything it needs anymore? I know that might sound like an odd thing to hear. Your whole life, doctors, parents, and health articles have told you the same simple message: drink more water. And that advice isn't wrong. Staying hydrated matters at every age, and it matters even more as the years go on. But here's something worth sitting with for a moment. After 60, plain water by itself may not be doing the full job your body is asking for. Think about everything your body has been through by this point in life. Decades of meals, decades of stress, decades of your heart beating, your blood vessels stretching and relaxing, your kidneys quietly filtering everything that passes through you. All of that wear adds up. And one of the quiet consequences of getting older is that some of the systems that used to run in the background without any help, balancing your sodium and potassium, keeping your blood vessels flexible, managing inflammation, start to need a little more support than they used to. That's really what this video is about. Not a miracle cure, not a magic pill, just 5 simple, natural additions to your daily hydration routine that have a long history of traditional use and a reasonable common sense case behind them for supporting circulation, energy, and overall vitality as you age. Some of these you've probably heard of. A couple might genuinely surprise you. And by the end, I think you'll walk away with at least one thing you're excited to try tomorrow morning. Before we get into the list, I want to say clearly, none of what I'm about to share is meant to replace your doctor, your medications, or your existing care plan. Think of these as allies working alongside good medical care, not a substitute for it. If you're on any medication, especially for blood pressure, please keep that conversation open with your physicians and as you make any changes. I'll remind you again when it matters most. All right, let's count down from 5 to 1. 5 being genuinely useful. 1 being the addition I think deserves a permanent spot in your daily routine. Number 5, coconut water. I know what a lot of people think when they hear coconut water. Isn't that just a trendy sports drink you see at the gym? I understand the skepticism, but let's actually look at why this one earns a spot on the list. Especially for anyone past 60, coconut water is one of the richest natural sources of potassium you'll find anywhere, even richer, cup for cup, than a banana, which most of us grew up thinking of as the potassium gold standard. And potassium plays a genuinely important role in how your body manages blood pressure. Picture sodium and potassium like 2 ends of a seesaw inside your bloodstream. When one goes up, the other generally needs to come down to keep things balanced. Earlier in life, your kidneys handle this seesaw almost automatically, without you ever thinking about it. But as we age, that balancing act tends to get a little stiffer, a little less responsive. Giving your body an easy, natural source of potassium can help support that balance. There's another piece to this too. Coconut water contains a group of naturally occurring plant compounds that are believed to help support the tissue lining your blood vessels, potentially helping to ease some of the oxidative stress that tends to accumulate in the body with age. You can think of oxidative stress almost like a slow, quiet rusting process happening inside your arteries over time. Nothing dramatic day to day, but it adds up across decades. Anything that helps push back against that process, even modestly, is worth having in your corner. For practical use, look for raw, unsweetened coconut water, not the flavored, sugar-added versions you'll often see stocked at the front of the grocery store. About 8 ounces in the morning, ideally before breakfast, is a simple way to build it into your day. And here's a nice pairing tip. Add a small handful of pumpkin seeds alongside it. Pumpkin seeds are a solid source of magnesium, and magnesium works hand in hand with potassium to support healthy muscle function, including the muscle that never stops working for you, your heart. Number 4, tart cherry water. If you deal with any stiffness, joint discomfort, or restless nights, this next one might be worth paying close attention to. Tart cherries are known for containing some of the highest naturally occurring levels of melatonin found in any food, and melatonin, as you probably know, plays a central role in how well and how deeply you sleep. But tart cherries offer something beyond just sleep support. They're also rich in anthocyanins, the deep red plant pigments responsible for that vivid cherry color, and these compounds are widely associated with helping to calm inflammation throughout the body. This matters more than it might seem at first. As we get older, the body's ability to regulate its own inflammatory response tends to become less precise. Researchers sometimes refer to this gradual shift as inflammaging, a slow, low-grade simmer of inflammation that can quietly affect joints, blood vessels, and overall energy over time. When blood vessel walls are chronically inflamed, they tend to stiffen and narrow, which means your heart has to work that much harder to push blood through them. Anything that helps ease that inflammatory load can, in a small way, ease that burden too. To prepare tart cherry water, stir about 2 tablespoons of unsweetened tart cherry concentrate into 8 ounces of water, ideally in the evening, an hour or two before bed. A small pinch of black pepper is worth adding here. Pepper contains a compound called piperine, which is commonly noted for helping the body absorb certain plant compounds, including the anthocyanins in tart cherry, more effectively. It's a tiny addition, but it can meaningfully improve how much benefit you actually get from the drink. I'll add one thing here from years of hearing from people who've tried this. Consistency tends to matter more than perfection. A single glass of tart cherry water isn't going to transform your sleep or your joints overnight, but making it a steady evening habit night after night tends to be where people notice the difference. Number 3. Green tea water now. This isn't the green tea your grandmother might have served lukewarm in a delicate floral cup. Prepared the right way, green tea becomes something genuinely powerful for your circulation, and the preparation method matters far more than most people realize. The key player here is a compound called EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate, a name that sounds more complicated than it needs to be. You can think of EGCG almost like a key that fits specific locks along the walls of your blood vessels. When it fits into place, it signals those vessels to relax and widen slightly, a process known as vasodilation. When your blood vessels are able to widen more easily, blood flows more freely, your heart doesn't have to strain as hard to move it along, and oxygen gets delivered more efficiently to your muscles and your brain. Here's why this becomes especially relevant after 60. Blood vessels naturally lose some of their elasticity as we age. They become a little stiffer and less responsive, somewhat like a garden hose that spent too many summers out in the sun. EGCG has been studied for its potential role in helping to ease some of that stiffening at a cellular level, partly by helping to counter something called advanced glycation end products, essentially a kind of slow caramelization that can happen inside artery walls over the years as sugars and proteins interact. Preparation genuinely matters with green tea. Water that's too hot, full, rolling boil can actually break down a meaningful portion of the beneficial EGCG content before you ever get to drink it. Aim for water around 175 Fahrenheit, well below boiling, and let the tea steep for about 3 minutes, no longer. Let it cool slightly before drinking, and if you can, enjoy it mid-morning, around 10 or 11 a.m., which tends to fit naturally into most people's daily rhythm without disrupting sleep the way an evening cup might. One more tip worth mentioning: a fresh squeeze of lemon juice into your green tea isn't just for flavor. The vitamin C in lemon is commonly noted for helping stabilize EGCG as it moves through the digestive tract, which may help your body actually absorb and use more of it. It's a small step that costs you nothing, but adds a real layer of benefit. Number 2, hibiscus water. This next one is something a lot of people have technically seen before. That deep crimson, almost ruby-colored flower you might have noticed dried and bagged in the bulk section of a natural grocery store, or steeped into a tart, refreshing iced tea in the summer. Hibiscus. And what's known about this flower's traditional and researched role in supporting healthy blood pressure and vascular function is something I genuinely think deserves far more everyday attention than it gets. Hibiscus contains a combination of anthocyanins and naturally occurring organic acids, including one often referred to as hibiscus acid, which are believed to support healthy blood vessel function through a few different pathways working together. Some of the compounds in hibiscus are thought to work in a way that's broadly similar, though far gentler and more modest, to how certain blood pressure supporting mechanisms work in the body, helping blood vessels stay relaxed rather than overly constricted. Hibiscus has also drawn interest for its potential role in supporting healthy cholesterol levels, alongside its more well-known reputation for supporting healthy blood pressure. Together, these make it a drink that a lot of longtime hibiscus drinkers describe as part of a broader, steady wellness routine rather than a quick fix. To prepare it, use about 2 to 3 tablespoons of dried hibiscus flowers, often labeled as Jamaica if you're shopping at a Latin grocery store, which tends to carry high-quality dried hibiscus at a great price. Steep in 8 ounces of hot water for 5 to 7 minutes, then let it cool. Skip the added sugar here if you can. If you want a touch of sweetness, a small amount of raw honey works well and doesn't fight against the benefits the way refined sugar can. One especially nice pairing is a small piece of dark chocolate, 85% cacao or higher, alongside your hibiscus water. The flavonols in dark chocolate and the anthocyanins in hibiscus are thought to support blood vessel health through complementary pathways, and together they may offer a bit more benefit than either one would on its own. Plus, let's be honest, it's a genuinely pleasant little ritual to look forward to. Now here is the one place in this entire video where I want to be extremely direct with you. If you are currently taking blood pressure medication, please talk to your doctor before making hibiscus tea a regular daily habit. This isn't a throwaway legal disclaimer I'm tacking on at the end. Hibiscus is genuinely potent, and combining it regularly with certain blood pressure medications is something your physician needs to know about and help you manage. Please don't skip that conversation. Number 1, beetroot water. And here we are, the one I've been building toward this entire video. Fresh or powdered beetroot dissolved into water is, in my view, one of the most quietly powerful things you can add to your routine after 60, and yet most people walk right past it in the grocery store without a second glance. Here's the science behind it, and I want to walk through this slowly, because I think once you understand what's actually happening in your body, you'll see why this one earns the top spot. Beetroot is one of the richest dietary sources of natural nitrates found in any commonly available food. When you consume beetroot, certain bacteria on your tongue help convert those nitrates into nitrites, and your bloodstream then converts those nitrites into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is one of the single most important molecules for vascular health in the entire human body. You can think of it almost like a natural lubricant for your arteries. When your body produces enough of it, blood vessels relax, widen, and become more flexible and responsive. Blood flows more freely as a result. Oxygen reaches your muscles and your brain more efficiently, and your heart doesn't have to work nearly as hard to keep everything moving. Here's what makes this especially important after 60. The body's natural nitric oxide production tends to decline noticeably with age. This is one of the reasons blood pressure often creeps upward over the years, why stamina for everyday activities like climbing stairs or carrying groceries can start to feel harder than it used to, and why so many people describe just feeling generally more sluggish as the decades go by. Beetroot doesn't just add something extra to a healthy lifestyle. In a real sense, it helps replace something the body has naturally lost ground on. For preparation, you have 2 solid options. Option 1. Juice 2 medium-sized raw beets and dilute the juice with about 8 ounces of water. Option 2, which tends to be more practical for most people's daily routine, use a high-quality beetroot powder, about 1 to 2 teaspoons stirred into 8 ounces of water. When shopping for beetroot powder, look for one without added sugar or artificial flavoring, just pure beet. Timing matters here more than with almost anything else on this list. Many people find it works best when consumed roughly 90 minutes before their most physically active stretch of the day, whether that's a morning walk, time in the garden, or a physical therapy session. That window gives your body enough time to convert those nitrates into active, usable nitric oxide. And here's a genuinely valuable pairing tip to close this one out. Combine your beetroot water with a source of vitamin C, a glass of orange juice, a kiwi, some sliced bell pepper, whatever you enjoy. Vitamin C is commonly noted for helping stabilize nitric oxide in the bloodstream, meaning the benefits from your beetroot may last longer than they would from beetroot alone. One practical, slightly funny note before we move on. Beetroot can turn your urine, and sometimes your stool, a reddish color. This is completely harmless. It's simply the natural pigment passing through your system, a phenomenon sometimes called bituria. If you're not expecting it, it can genuinely be a little alarming the first time you notice it, so consider this your friendly heads up. It's the beet, not a medical emergency, bringing it all together. I don't want you to walk away from this video with just a list of 5 drinks to try and forget by next week. I want you to walk away with something a little bigger than that. After 60, the small daily decisions you make about what you put into your body genuinely carry more weight than they did earlier in life. Not because it's too late to make changes, it is never, ever too late, but because your body is now asking for a bit more support than it used to need. Your blood vessels have been working for 6, 7, 8 decades at this point. They've carried you through stress and celebration, through decades of meals and mornings, through all the ordinary wear that comes with simply being alive for a long time. And they are still working for you right now, every single second, whether you're thinking about them or not. What we've walked through today, coconut water, tart cherry, green tea, hibiscus, and beetroot, none of these are miracle cures, and I'd be doing you a disservice if I framed them that way. What they are is a set of simple natural allies that speak a language your aging vascular system understands. And when you give your body tools like this, paired with good medical care, regular movement, and the basics you already know matter, something real tends to happen over time. People often describe getting a bit of their energy back, feeling less like a passenger in their own life and more like they're back in the driver's seat. That's not a marketing line. It's simply what tends to happen when small, sustainable habits are given enough time to work. Your independence, your energy, your ability to get down on the floor and play with your grandkids, to travel, to wake up, and simply feel good in your own body. These things aren't gone. For most people, they're very much still within reach, often closer than it feels on a hard day. And today, just by spending this time learning something new, you took a small step in that direction. If any part of this was genuinely useful to you, consider sharing it with someone in your life who's over 62, a sibling, a spouse, a close friend. Good practical information like this is worth passing along to the people you care about. And one last time, because it truly matters, please talk with your doctor before making any significant changes to your diet, your hydration routine, or anything related to medications you're currently taking, especially around blood pressure. These 5 drinks can be wonderful additions alongside good medical care. They are not a replacement for it. Take good care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.